Good morning. Good morning. It's Monday, May 18th. It is Mantra Monday. It's 8 a.m. It's 8 a.m. here on the West Coast, and it's 11 a.m. on the East Coast. And I'm very happy to have you here. We are into verse number 6 of the Sikshastakam. And the Sikshastakam means 8 instructions. And we have been diving into the instructions left by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was a saint, a scholar, who lived and practiced in India way back in, the 15th, 16th century. Did not live a very long time. Lived for 48 years. Spent the last 12 years of his Lila, or his life, his earthly life, exhibiting some very deep, ecstatic symptoms of pure love, and actually lived in isolation with 2 very intimate friends, 2 intimate associates, Damodar and Ramananda Roy, in the seaside village of Puri, of Jagannath Puri, in India. So that is in Bengal. So I'm going to take a little sip here and give people a moment to arrive. I hope that everyone is keeping sane in this time. I know that this Mantra Monday is keeping me sane. I also want to express my deep sympathy and condolences to anyone who has lost a parent. This week, it's come into my awareness that several people, at least 3 in my circle, have lost a parent. Specifically, have lost a father. And I just want to express my deep sympathy and condolences. It's very, 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 very difficult to lose a parent, especially if you've been close to that parent. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, I don't see anybody here. Don't see anybody here. Give you guys another minute. All right then, well, the format here is that I will read the mantra, the verse in Sanskrit, then I will give a word-for-word translation, and then I will give the purport, or actually I will, give the whole sentence, sentences, together, sort of strung together, apart from the synonyms, which break down the individual meaning of each word, and then I will try and deliver any insight that I may have, or any insight that I may have found from previous teachers, from previous saints and scholars and acharyas. And this one today, if any of you have ever been in love, and kind of a crazy love, I think that this will make this verse relatable, because you will see why. Okay. I'm referring to books today, as always. The verse is coming from the Caitanya-caritāmṛta, the Antya Lila. This is chapter 20. Antya means the end. And this is verse 36 in this work by Krishnadas Kaviraj. That was finished in the year 1615. It's quite voluminous. And also, to try and help us understand, I'm going to be also looking into, or referring you guys to, the Nectar of Devotion, which was written by Rupa Goswami, and it is an encyclopedia on ecstatic love. So here we go. If you're here, make a comment, wave, let me know you're here. Okay, here we go. Nayanam galad-aśru-dhārayā, vadanam gadgada-ruddhayā girā, pulakair nicitam vapuḥ kadā, tava nāma-grahaṇe bhaviṣyati. Once again, nayanam galad-aśru-dhārayā, vadanam gadgada-ruddhayā girā, pulakair nicitam vapuḥ kadā, tava nāma-grahaṇe bhaviṣyati. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. I just want to check this, make sure. Hey, good morning. Okay, that's better for the sound. I don't know if you heard me the first time, so I'm going to repeat it. Good morning, whoever you are. Make a comment so I can see. I'm glad you're here. Okay, so Caitanya-caritāmṛta, Antya Lila, chapter 20, verse 36. Nayanam galad-aśru-dhārayā, vadanam gadgada-ruddhayā girā, pulakair nicitam vapuḥ kadā, tava nāma-grahaṇe bhaviṣyati. Gonna repeat that mantra again. Nayanam galad-aśru-dhārayā, vadanam gadgada-ruddhayā girā, pulakair nicitam vapuḥ kadā, tava nāma-grahaṇe bhaviṣyati. Okay, now the word-for-word translation. Nayanam, the eyes. Galad-aśru-dhārayā, by streams of tears running down. Vadanam, mouth. Gadgada, faltering. Ruddhayā, choked up. Girā, with words. Pulakair, with erection of the hairs due to transcendental happiness. Nicitam, covered. Vapuḥ, the body. Kadā, when. Tava, your. nāma-grahaṇe, and chanting the name. Bhaviṣyati, will be. Translation. My dear Lord, when will my eyes be beautified by filling with tears that constantly glide down as I chant your holy name? When will my voice falter and all the hairs on my body stand erect in transcendental happiness as I chant your holy name? So this chapter, or this verse, could be called, if you've ever been in love. Of course, the love that we're talking about here is transcendental, and the object of love is the supreme. So Chaitanya's mission is twofold. His mood, or I should say his mood, is in the mood of Srimati Radharani. It is in the mood of ecstatic love in separation from the beloved. And his purpose is to show us by example what it is to be a gentle Vaishnava, what it is to be a gentle person, how to behave, but also what are the authentic symptoms of someone who has actually reached that level of self-realization in yoga where they're constantly connected to the supreme in love. So there's no interruption here. He is taking the position of a conditioned soul. He's taking the position, or he's speaking in the mood of every man and every woman. But here there is a there is like a lamentation, but it's a transcendental lamentation. He's not lamenting because he doesn't have enough money. He's not lamenting because he's not popular. He's not lamenting because he's lost something. This is a mood where he is asking, when will he be in that state of mind, in that state of heart, where he is so connected to the sound incarnation, because after all, mantras are very powerful incarnations of the Supreme in his various potencies. So he's asking, when will be he in that state where he is so connected that he's constantly crying? Of course, you know, tears of joy. And when will his voice falter? You know, from when you get very emotional, it's hard to speak. You get choked up. It's hard to speak. And the hairs on his body will stand erect in transcendental happiness. So sometimes a person's hairs on their body, or, you know, you'll see that like in a dog or an animal, the hairs will stand up in fear, right? Straight up. But this is not what we're talking about here. Sometimes, and you may have experienced this, the hairs on like the back of your neck will also stand up when you feel very spiritually charged. So this is what Caitanya is talking about here. And he's saying, in transcendental happiness, you know, as I chant. So this mood of Caitanya, as we get to, you know, well, actually, we're just 2 verses away from the end, but you will notice if you go back through the videos that there's been a shift, a slight shift in the mood of these verses. So now we're getting, or he's getting, you know, deeper into the mood of Srimati Radharani. So, you know, it's in the spiritual world, there's kind of a transcendental paradox where being separated from the object of love, you actually experience a heightened sense of happiness and a heightened sense of transcendental ecstasy than actually being with the object of love. It's a kind of a mellow, right? It's a different kind of a mood. And for any of you who have ever been in love, you may understand or get a glimpse of what this means. So of course, to be with your beloved is a wonderful thing, but you can't always be with your beloved because your lives, you know, can separate you for different various reasons. So when you're separated from your love, you're actually thinking about them. You're thinking about that person the last time you met, or you're thinking about their characteristics. You're anticipating meeting them again. In a way, that anticipation of meeting the beloved again is even more thrilling and more exciting than actually being with them in person. So anything that we're experiencing here on this earth is actually, it's a reflection. It's a kind of an upside down reflection or a perverted reflection of what we are feeling in the spiritual world. Because here, things are tinged with material motivations, or they're tinged with jealousy, you know, they're tinged with envy. And there are counterparts in the spiritual world of those emotions, but the difference is that these are not, they do not have the same conclusion as they do here in this plane. Here in this plane, when people feel these different things like envy or jealousy and so forth, things come to a bad end, right? It's not like that in the transcendental world. So this is hard to understand. I'm not going to lie. This is difficult for us to understand because we don't have any reference for it here. So a great book to go to is actually this book called The Nectar of Devotion, or the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and this was written as a guidebook by one of the 6 Goswamis, Rupa Goswami, who they lived as an ascetic in Vrindavan, just sleeping under a tree every night, eating a little pat of butter, and basically always writing and always feeling very happy. So there's an explanation here in chapter 20 called the Transcendental Mellow, and it explains that the author wants to describe the general symptoms of the transcendental mellow, or the loving mood of discharging devotional service, and that there are divisions in this particular chapter, which are vibhava, special symptoms or causes of ecstasy; anubhava, subsequent ecstasy; sattvika bhava, constitutional or existential ecstasy; vyabhichari bhava, aggressive ecstasy; and stati bhava, fervent or continuous ecstasy. And he explains that the word rasa is understood by different persons differently because the exact English equivalent is very difficult to find. But the translator of this volume is going to use the word mellow because that seems to be the best way to translate it into English. And the particular loving mood or attitude relished in the exchange of love with the Supreme is called rasa or mellow, and that there are different kinds. And when they're combined together, they help one to taste the mellow of devotional service in the highest degree of transcendental ecstasy. Such a position, although entirely transcendental to our experience, will be explained in this section as far as possible, following in the footsteps of Srila Rupa Goswami. And it goes on to break down bodily features, auspicious characteristics, different things. Excuse me, I've skipped ahead. That is not correct. Well, actually, it goes into breaking down in the subsequent chapters different things that give impetus for this love, and also more and more qualities. There's lots and lots of qualities here. And then the actual bodily symptoms and degrees of ecstatic symptoms that a devotee can experience. So this is a pretty deep topic, but I guess the main thing to know about it is that this is kind of the end game, because ultimately we're all searching for love, and ultimately we're all searching to have, an uninterrupted experience of love. So I'm going to open the Caitanya-caritāmṛta, and I am going to, let me see, skip ahead here. And just try and read you some of the other verses here to try and put this in context. So we already read 36. So, premadan vinavyarta darida jivana dasakari vetana mori deha prema dana rasantara Okay, rasantara vese ha ila viyoga spurana udvega vishada dainye kare pralapana. Okay, so he says in the subsequent verses, without love of Godhead, my life is useless. Therefore, I pray that you accept me as your servant and give me the salary of ecstatic love. And then it goes on to say, separation from Krishna awoke various mellows of distress, lamentation, and humility. Thus, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spoke like a crazy man. So, this is all on a very, very, very high platform, and there are many different transcendental emotions that are being exhibited here by Chaitanya. They can seem contradictory. So we have lamentation, we have humility, we have distress, right? And we all, again, here in this conditioned world, when we're crazy in love with someone and we're separated from them, we can experience a kind of a shadow of these types of emotions. We feel distressed. We can feel very, very distressed because we are separated from the beloved. We may feel, some kind of humility. Sometimes this is expressed in love songs, one comes to mind by Sade, where she says, basically, sometimes I think you're just too good for me, right? This kind of feeling of humility, like somehow I'm not worthy, of your love, but still I'm craving your love, and I want to go towards your love. And then, of course, lamentation, that sadness, that hankering, that regret. So, this is a science. I want to say that the process of yoga, and specifically the process of bhakti yoga, is a process. And it is a lofty one, but it is something that we can achieve with a combination of our own efforts, of trying to follow that process as best we can in the first place, but also as a state of grace. Because like anything that involves real emotion or that involves the heart, it's not something that can just be phoned in. It's not something that can just be done by rote. So that is why Chaitanya is constantly making references to and asking for mercy, is asking for a benediction, is asking for a blessing, is asking for the facility, to be able to even engage in a relationship and to feel this way. And this is very telling, I think. While it is our constitutional position, while it is our birthright, our eternal birthright, as it were, to be in this loving relationship, because we're coming from a place of conditioning, because we're coming from a place of material existence, because we have been here for so very long. This mood of humility, again, in context of understanding how forgetful we have been, right, is very sweet. It is like an asking. It's kind of like an asking for forgiveness. It is not presumptive. Well, I don't know how good of a job that I have done today on this verse, because again, it is very lofty. It is a little difficult to convey, but it's worth reading. Sometimes, even if we don't understand something, transcendentally speaking, in its entirety, or it could be anything else, just to listen and just to hear and just to expose ourselves to learning, to a sound vibration, gradually, brings us to that place where it will make sense to us at some point down the line, at an appropriate time. So I'm going to conclude by reading this again, this mantra. Nayanam galad-aśru-dhārayā, vadanam gadgada-ruddhayā girā, pulakair nicitam vapuḥ kadā, tava nāma-grahaṇe bhaviṣyati. Nayanam, the eyes, galad-aśru-dhārayā, by streams of tears running down, vadanam, mouth, gadgada, faltering, ruddhayā, choked up, girā, with words, pulakair, with erection of the hairs due to transcendental happiness, nicitam, covered, vapuḥ, the body, kadā, when, tava, your, nāma-grahaṇe, enchanting the name, bhaviṣyati, will be. My dear Lord, when will my eyes be beautiful? By filling with tears that constantly glide down as I chant your holy name. When will my voice falter and all the hairs on my body stand erect in transcendental happiness as I chant your holy name? So again, it is to be understood that there is no difference between the name and the person. This is a sound incarnation and something that we can take advantage of regardless of where we are, where we live, what our social class is. There is no material restriction, and that gradually, by trying to approach the name with some humility and some attentiveness, that the relationship, the door of that relationship will gradually open for us, and we'll get to the point and to the stage and to the platform where we are constantly diving and swimming in and out of this vast ecstatic ocean of love that Caitanya Mahaprabhu is giving us a glimpse of. Isn't that right, Noah? Yeah? Come here, buddy. Come here. You want to say hello? It's time for Noah to say hello to you guys. Come here. Come here, buddy. Yeah. Yeah, stretchy stretch. Yeah. Okay. The best guard dog ever. The best guard dog ever. The sweetest guy ever. All right, y'all. I hope that you got something out of this. I'd love to hear your comments. I'd love to hear your feedback and what you think. Also for the members in my group, I'm doing a special cooking demo this Wednesday called Some Like It Spicy. I'm going to be talking about how to use chilies in cooking, specifically in Indian cooking and devotional cooking. And I'm going to be sharing a special recipe that you guys can make and use at home to add a little flair to your rice dishes, your dal dishes, and your vegetable dishes. So until I see you next week, be well. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming along. Bye-bye now.